Want that big screen experience? The Fandango app gets you the best seat. Use the app, trusted by over 10 million moviegoers. Find your perfect movie, theater, and seat instantly. Download the #1 movie ticketing app, Fandango.
I hit our stunt performer so hard. At the end of that shot, he went back to his trailer and took off his wardrobe. And he had the imprint of my shoes on his chest. That's how hard I hit him.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Coley. Welcome to this special episode of Seen on the Screen, brought to you by Make It Universal and Rotten Tomatoes, where we talk movies with some of the people behind the scenes at NBC Universal. When entertainment works best, sometimes it opens a window into a world we've never imagined. Other times, it shows us a mirror image of our lives with a heightened sense of home. Today, we're going to dig into the question, what have you seen on the screen that does that? My guest today is the star of the new film Love Hurts, Ke Huy Quan. Ke, welcome to Seen on the Screen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so if you don't maybe know this, but this podcast is really for Universal partners and anyone that works with Universal. And I have to start with the basic question, which is, who are you? Give yourself a full introduction. And what do you do with Universal Pictures / Universal Film Group?
Oh, you mean like who am I? Oh, I'm Ke Huy Quan. I'm an actor. I'm so proud to say that. I remember for many years, I would always have like difficulties filling out what my profession is, but now I'm very happy to say I'm an actor. And I just, I did a movie for Universal Studios called Love Hurts. Here we are. I'm very proud of it, and it's also my first time leading in a major studio picture.
I love that so much, because if folks don't know, I mean, I hope they do, because I feel like you were all over my screen for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but you've literally been a part of my childhood since, Indiana Jones. Like, it's absolutely crazy. But thinking of your long career in Hollywood, I think your career is a perfect example of why this podcast is important, because you've done so much in your career. And I think at a certain way, when you look at Love Hurts, it's a culmination of everything you've done, from the stunts, from the community of actors that you've been working with, to your more recent award-winning stuff with Everything Everywhere All at Once. So yeah, I'd love for you to talk about what it was like joining this project and why you wanted to make it your first leading feature.
I think you put it really nicely. I feel like everything that I've done and everything that I've learned in my life is in preparation for this movie. I grew up loving the action genre, especially those wonderful action movies that came out of Hong Kong in the 80s. And that's what got me started learning martial arts. So I took Taekwondo classes, got my black belt, and came out with all these skills and was super excited to use it in movies that I saw and love. And at that time, they didn't cast, they didn't put someone that looks like me in a leading role in an action movie. Action stars look very different back then. So I had to put all those skills that I acquired aside, thinking that I wouldn't be able to use them. But luckily, I was able to use them in two different areas. One was when I stepped behind the camera as an assistant action choreographer. And I was really happy doing that. But there was just something missing, because it was all about the action choreography and watching actors that I train and teach and see them do it in front of the screen. So for this, it was really special because I got to do it myself. Yeah. And that's what I wanted for this movie.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Marvin.
I play Marvin Gable, who at first glance seems like a very simple, affable guy that loves his job very much, which is, he's a real estate agent, and he just really enjoys making people's dreams of owning a home come true. He loves the very mundane 9-to-5 job. And very quickly, we learned that he has a past that he's not very proud of, that he's trying to get away from. It's wonderful. We had such an incredible time making this movie, and also an incredible cast as well.
Yeah, I mean, that brings me to my very next question, because I love saying this, Oscar, Academy Award winner, Ke Huy Quan, but also Oscar, Academy Award winner, Ariana DeBose. And the fact that she is playing alongside you in this, and I'm not going to say what her character is exactly, but I think folks can figure it out a little bit from the trailer. I would say the best part is it really does feel like it carries on to your award season, because she was the person that actually handed you your Academy Award. Just talk about her joining the cast and what it was like acting alongside her.
Well, every time I talk about Ariana, I get a bit emotional, because immediately my mind jumps to that moment when she was on stage and she opened that envelope and she announced, my name with such, emotion and conviction, and I love her for it. And I would see her at different events, and I always go up to her, give her a big hug, and says, Ariana, I would love to do a movie with you. So when this project came, and we were talking about who can play Rose, and her name came up, and I immediately jumped up, got really excited. I said, please do whatever you can, make her say yes to this, pay her all the money she wants.
She's worth it.
I just really wanted to work with her, and I got my wish came true.
I mean, you guys are so great in this. And I will say it was taxing in the sense of like what you said, where you feel like you had to be that Taekwondo kid to do this, because, sorry, this is from the people that brought you Nobody and Violent Night. So like, let's be real. The action is very actiony, but they have you going through it in this one, like more so than all of the stuff that you've done, maybe, right?
Well, from the very beginning, we knew what kind of action movie we were going to make, which was, an homage to those Hong Kong action movies that I grew up, watching and loving. Same thing with the entire team, with David Leitch, all of our producers, Jojo especially, and even our action team, Chong and the guys. And the second thing is, I knew that I wanted to do all the fights myself.
Wow.
Because there's something really special when you see it's the actor up on the screen doing it and not just some stunt double.
Wow. I also wanted to ask you something too, because I think your career is another thing that is, I'm glad we're highlighting it on this podcast, because you've been through so many great highs, but there's been also different types of moments, where it's like, you were a working actor at one point, just trying to, find that next gig. And I think having a movie like this, being a leading man at this point in your career, it's very inspirational to a lot of people. So if you could
First of all, I love the sounding of that.
I mean, you did it, sir. I mean, seriously though, between the Academy to now leading your first feature, like it doesn't matter if this is when you got it. Everybody would want to have a career like that. So I was
better late than never.
Better late than never, yeah. So I'm curious if you could give any advice to folks about how you, sort of like your character Marvin, kept that dogged determination to keep going in service of your love of acting, in service of the fact that you really just love making movies.
I've been asked a lot about that question, and I always talk about, like persevering, not giving up, and one day your dream will come true. But also, more importantly, I think I had some time to reflect back on what's happened in the last couple of years. And I think it's important to surround yourself with people who truly believe in you. I don't think I would have been here if my wife, wasn't with me the entire journey. She's the one that kept, even during those really dark days when I would give up on myself.
Wow. And
she's the one that really said, you cannot, because one day it's going to happen for you. So I would say, I would tell people, if you have doubts about yourself, just make sure, you surround yourself with those people that love you, that care about you, and also that no matter what, they believe in you.
Yeah. I love that. And I would say you're really saying it's good to have great partners. And I'm not going to tout two horns too high here as a proud Universal employee, but you are working with Universal Pictures. The Daniels will have a new blockbuster coming out eventually in 2026. It's showing something, I think, that this is a home that folks are gravitating towards. I'd love for you to talk about a little bit what it was like working with the folks at Universal Pictures and how they supported you in this moment, because it is a moment where you want to have a good team with you.
You know, nobody knows this. I've never told this story before. I shot a television show on this lot, Universal lot. It was a show called Together We Stand with Elliot Gould and Dee Wallace. And during those breaks, those free time that I had, I would always ride my bike around the lot, and I would see the tram come down, and I would say hi to to those people. And also, what made it even more special is Steven Spielberg's office is on this lot. So I would go, during lunchtime, I would go to his office. I would play video games. And of course, this time, it feels like a full circle moment for me, because when I did the television show, I was the only Asian actor on that primetime lineup. And to come back as a leading man in this incredible movie, this incredible opportunity that Universal gave me, feels amazing. It really does. And also, like you said, the Daniels, they have their deal here.
Yeah.
Three men changed my life. First one, Steven Spielberg, of course, introducing me to this incredible world of movie making. And also, I certainly wouldn't be here without the Daniels. They took a chance on an actor who hasn't acted in more than 20 years. So that Everything Everywhere All at Once, incredible gift is the reason I'm here. So I love everything about Universal Studios.
Yeah, and that's where they made their home. So I think it's again, picking the right company, as they say.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to get into our questions. Don't worry, I have a feeling these are going to be definitely things that you've seen on the screen, so you don't have to be worried about it.
I'm not very good at games, so this makes me nervous.
I think you're going to do fabulous. You guys, I've been saved by my pinchers of peril.
I know that line well. It's a line that a lot of fans that I've met over the years come up to me and ask me to say it. From the Goonies.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time. In fact, all these years, one of the most asked questions ever is, will there be a Goonies sequel?
Ooh.
I love making that movie. It's incredible how that movie has stood the test of time. And also, my relationship with the cast, with everybody, it has been incredible, and we remain as a family till today. In fact, my entertainment lawyer is Jeff Cohen, as you know.
I know.
AKA Chunk.
And then in Love Hurts, you also brought back, I literally, when he walked out, so it's like no secret, Sean Astin is in Love Hurts. And I was like,
oh my gosh, I was so happy because I remembered us being kids running around those Goonies set. And when he came on set, and doing that scene together with him in the office, in Cliff's office, immediately brought me back to 1985.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I wasn't looking at him as if we're in the present day, but transporting me back to those days when we were kids, going down those water slides and watching that pirate ship for the first time. It was incredible. I'm very grateful for that movie.
All right. Goonies got its definite segment, which it deserved. Goonies needs more than a minute to discuss it. All right. Yeah. Next quote. Those aren't big birds, sweetheart. They are giant vampire bats.
I know who said that line. Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
and the Temple of Doom. We were in Sri Lanka. That was, I think, maybe the first week of shooting.
Wow.
I've never been on a movie set. I've never acted in my life. And it was, it was incredible. And I think my whole passion for acting stemmed from that experience.
Yeah.
From working with Harrison and Steven and George and Kate Capshaw. And to this day, every time I think about that movie, I always look back with nothing but fond memories.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Right now, there's a new Indiana Jones video game that's very popular, and Harrison is out. But I still think one of the most precious Indiana Jones moments was you two reuniting.
Yeah.
Like that moment, like when he calls it out, like, I mean, again, Academy Awards, they knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like,
but nobody knew. I didn't know that he was going to be there that night.
Yeah.
So when he walked out holding that envelope for Best Picture, and again, we didn't know we were going to win.
I mean, we knew. I'm sorry. I'm saying this as an awards editor by trade. I'm like, we knew.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I mean, we were all holding our breaths. And when he announced it, and as you can see, I just leapt onto the stage and gave him the biggest hug I can. That will always be one of the most memorable nights of my life.
Yeah. This next quote: "You think because I'm kind that it means I'm naive, and maybe I am. It's strategic and necessary. This is how I fight." Where's that one from?
I love that line. Of course, I know that line well. Everything Everywhere All at Once from CEO Wayman.
Yeah.
That day we shot until 6 a.m., until the sun came up. And with one more day to go, we were all scheduled to come back the next day. And I remember our producer, Jonathan Wong, came up to me and says, "We just got the call from A24. The entire country is shutting. It has shut down. The entire world has shut down. We can't come back tomorrow."
Yeah.
And I was devastated. We didn't get back together until 8 months later.
Wow.
And this entire time I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna, it was my first movie back as an actor. Yeah. And I go, oh my gosh, are we ever gonna, one, finish this movie? Second, are people going to even get to see this movie?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what was going through my mind at that time.
And then that next March, you're at South by Southwest,
Yes.
and then the world
Yes.
changes.
Yes, and of course, in retrospect, it was shutting down was a blessing in disguise because it allowed the Daniels enough time to edit the movie and look at it and decide what else do we need. So we didn't come back for 1 day; we came back for 2 days.
And got everything.
And that entire time, it was, I didn't know, I don't think any of us knew what we were sitting on. I was just hoping that, A24 would make the money back so that we get to do this again, to tell another story that features, an Asian cast.
Yeah.
There's that constant need to prove to Hollywood that if you tell a story like this, it is profitable. And people will come out to see it. The reason why I decided to be an actor again was because of Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
And I kind of wondered, had that movie failed, then maybe it would instill this thought that, that's why, it doesn't work. But instead, thank God, it became a huge success. And it allowed me the courage to go, you know what? The world is ready to see a movie like that. Not only that, but Everything Everywhere All at Once. The world is ready for an actor that looks like me to lead a major studio picture. A new kind of action hero.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to our next popcorn bucket. You did amazing. These ones are true or false.
True or false? Okay.
The 1983 film Project A was the first time Jackie Chan included outtakes at the end of a movie.
That's a tough one because I've seen Project A many, many times. In fact, that year, if for the audience who really knows the Hong Kong cinema, that year Winners and Sinners also came out. And those two movies I've seen more times than any other movie because those two movies really influenced me to study martial arts. But I would say false. There's probably one movie that came out right before that started doing that.
Yeah. Dragon Lord, which
Yes,
came
yes,
out
yes,
the year
Dragon
before.
Lord.
Speaking of Jackie Chan, I think you can definitely see how his style of martial arts has influenced a lot of modern day sort of action sequences, but especially the ones that you're doing in this and the ones that like David Leitch is kind of known for, that like very real and authentic.
Yeah, for Love Hurts, in the very, very beginning, I had a conversation with David Leitch and Jojo, our director, and our entire action team. And I go, it was very clear from the beginning that we wanted to pay homage to those type of movies that came out of Hong Kong in the 1980s. And with movies like, Winners and Sinners and Project A, they're very grounded. There were very little wire work. And that's what we wanted to do with this movie, to make sure, one, all the fights feels real. There's a lot at stakes. And also to blend, in some fights, to blend comedy, and also to use like whatever is available to us. For example, the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan is very famous for utilizing whatever is on that set. So yeah, that was on our mind, and we wanted, and that's also another reason why I wanted to do all the fights myself.
Yeah,
it's because I grew up watching him, and he did them all himself. And I'm just I'm glad that we got to do it, and that we worked really hard on it. I hope it pays off. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the action question. What did you do to prepare physically? Like, you have to get the standard action star question of like, how much physical change did you have to do? Because let's be real, you're also doing it at a different time than when Jackie was doing it.
I know. Yes. I trained a lot with our action team, and it's a lot of muscle memories, but also really like getting myself physically in shape for it, mentally as well too, because when you do a fight scene like that, it's highly choreographed. So you have to be very focused to, one, remember the choreography. Second is you want to make sure that you throw the punches and the kicks needs to land a certain way in order not to hurt the actor that you're doing it with. So it's really demanding, not only physically, but also mentally as well too.
Oh, I love that. All right, we're going to move on to our next true or false question. Director Wong Kar-wai finished editing his film In the Mood for Love the morning before its Cannes premiere in 2000.
I would not be surprised if that is true, because I worked with him. I know what it's like. I know he's a perfectionist, and he's always not satisfied with his work. So he would, we worked on a movie called 2046 together, and he spent 5 years making that movie. And I remember as each year goes by, he would always tell all of us that we need to make the deadline for this year's Cannes Film Festival. And that deadline would approach, and everybody would like scramble to get everything ready, to get the cut ready, to get the music and all of that. And then we would see that deadline come and go year after year. So I would not be surprised. I would say true to that.
Yes, true. And then it did become the toast of Cannes, which I very much remember. Him, Tony, the entire cast. Did you talk to anyone about that connection when so many folks were talking about the In the Mood for Love section of Everything Everywhere All at Once? Because I will say, when he's smooth, that is a smooth moment. Like, did you talk to Tony and be like, hey man,
First of all, In the Mood for Love is one of my all-time favorite movies. And when Everything Everywhere was about to be released, I texted him and I said, Kar-wai, I'm an actor now. I'm in this little movie. I hope you get a chance to see it, and I just want you to know that we pay an entire universe in homage to you, to In the Mood for Love. And he was really happy. And when he saw it, he texted me. He says, "Great job, kid, and please tell Michelle Yeoh that I loved her performance as well too." He's very sweet, and of course, I learned so much from him. His dedication, his passion, his strive to make the best movie he can, and never relenting, no matter what the obstacle is. I learned that from him.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. Doing laundry never sounded so romantic than it did in that moment. Like, I
hope to all the people watching out there, I hope you find somebody that you would love to just do laundry and taxes with. There's something really special about that line.
Well, girl, don't make me feel like this again, because I lived for it. I'm like in the movie with like my person being like, you better want to do taxes with me until the end. It's definitely that. All right. Very last true or false question. The director of Love Hurts, Jojo Eusebio, started as a stunt coordinator.
I would say false, because he started out as a stunt performer and climbed his way up to being a fight coordinator and then a stunt coordinator.
I'm going to get to your eventual true because that is true, but he didn't start off that way. And you just have better inside information than my card. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, but here's the thing. It's very like a lot of people don't understand the difference between stunts versus fights.
Yeah.
And what a stunt coordinator does versus a fight choreographer.
Yeah. And so like the coordinator is more of like the leader on the set that's like, this is the guy that's going to do this fight.
So a stunt coordinator is responsible for all the stunts.
Yeah.
And when I talk about stunts, I talk about, guys falling off buildings. Or getting hit by a car or being set on fire. All those are stunts. I don't do stunts. Stunts is a very unique skill that takes a lot of training and is extremely dangerous. Those guys work very hard. What I do really well is fights. And fights is basically punches and kicks.
But dancing almost.
It's kind of like a dancing. You always need a partner or multiple partners because you can be, like with Love Hurts, I'm fighting like 10 guys. Or I can have like a one-on-one fight with Daniel Wu at the end of the movie. So they're very, very different. And then within that, category, you have people who are experts with wires or just they have all these like really fun toys that you can use to keep the stunt performers safe.
Yeah.
Back then, they don't have that. Like again, going back to those Hong Kong 80s action movies, you know how they did them?
How?
They would do a big stunt. They would literally have like ambulances waiting on set. And it's scary. And you watch it and go, wow. We did some of it, some of those fights. When you watch a great fight sequence on screen, sometimes you look at it and go, wow, that looks real. Well, guess what? It is real because you have stunt guys, stunt performers get paid to take a hit from actors like myself. And we did that multiple times in the movie. I'll hit them again and again. And what's incredible about them is they'll get right back up. In fact, I hit our stunt performer so hard, and I think I kicked him 5 or 6 times. At the end of that shot, he went back to his trailer. He took off his wardrobe, and he had the imprint of my shoes on his chest. That's how hard I hit him.
Listen, they need a category at the Academy Awards.
Yes.
Because I don't go home with any prints.
Yes. I'm a big advocate for that.
No, I am too. What's your favorite movie snack?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You have to have popcorn.
By itself?
No, with soda.
Okay, soda. Yeah. I'm an icy girl. Last show that you binged?
Last show, The Ripley.
Ooh, yeah.
I love that show.
That was good.
Yeah.
Andrew Scott, very good. Favorite actor?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
It could be your favorite actor today.
But,
maybe
but
not.
I will say this, and I have to say this because he's the reason why I love acting so much. Harrison Ford.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Going to the movie theater alone, yes or no?
Yes, and also no, because I've been to movie theaters alone a lot of times, but you cannot beat that experience of going on a date or with a group of friends and family. Movies are meant to be watched with a ton of people.
Don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Favorite classic Universal film? And I will remind you, classic is now 25 years ago, so it's not that long.
Favorite classic Universal? I gotta say Jaws.
That's a good one.
Jaws, yeah.
Steven did all right with that one.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Oh,
it's over.
I survived.
You did. I'm very much enjoying that. Universal and Seen on the Screen gave me a chance to talk to you about Love Hurts and your incredible career. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I had a wonderful time. Thank you, Jacqueline.